Well, now is the session of the second invited talk, and Julieta Fierro here from Mexico. Thank you very much, Julieta, to be here. I know you are a busy woman. Julieta is the chairwoman of the session, so please, Julieta, I invite you to present Néstor Camino, a colleague and a friend. Well, we study together, so we know each other since a lot of time ago. Julieta, your time.
Well, thank you so much, Beatrice. Thank you for including me in this great event. I'm really thankful to you and to all the people that have worked with you. You've done a great job, and I hope this continues. You have set an example, and we should maintain hybrid education and symposia for a long and prosperous teaching of astronomy. I'd like to present Néstor Camino. As you know, he's very active in teaching and education. He has a long list of very interesting papers posted online. I invite you to visit his contributions. And today he's going to talk to us about the early gaze upon the sky, a single worldview or many worldviews in dialogue. Néstor, the chair is yours.
Thank you, Julieta. Thank you, Beatriz. Well, I want to share with you some personal concerns and some reflections about the future of our discipline, the teaching of astronomy. First of all, being honest, I want to apologize for my spoken English and for my written English too. And because we Latin people many times have the problem that sharing ideas in a language that we do not master is an obstacle to understanding each other. However, communication is possible if both ends of the communicational bond strive. We will do our best, hope you too, and let's do it the best way. I have some concerns about the future of the teaching of astronomy. So this talk is to share some concerns personal. I want to remark this with you and to speculate freely on them, as if we were thinking aloud, thinking that this meeting should be in Bariloche, sharing all together the beauty of this city and having a chocolate and talking freely, not just in this medium Zoom that is a little hard to communicate properly. Thinking about the evolution of our activity with a projection of at least 10 years in the future, as the plan of IAU requires identifying what aspect of what we do today should be modified and improved to be more equitable, respectful, creative, profound, to promote freedom and peace, but with a different look on the sky. I like to think about ourselves that we are a species linked to the sky. I consider that human beings are a species linked to the sky since the beginning of time. We cannot know how other species, bees, whales, birds of prey, perceive the sky. They use the sky, they live with the canopy of the sky, but we do not know what they perceive, what they think, maybe. But we do know that through time, humans, through geography and cultures, human beings have a transcendental link with the sky. Maybe this link is what is common to all of us through history. So I like to think about our planet as if it is covered by ice. Such a link with the sky can be imagined metaphorically, thinking that our planet is covered with ice at every moment from every place since human beings exist. Furthermore, today, our eyes are already in many places in the solar system. The Earth, we humans look to the sky as an essential part of who we are. But life in cities, pollution, and capitalism seem to be against the sky. The habit of looking at the sky has diminished. It is no longer a social activity. It is no longer so important for people. It is hardly a reason for philosophical or religious reflection. The rhythm of the cities, the voracious consumption, the maelstrom of life for work, the pollution of the atmosphere, light, gases, particles, has produced the sky almost been disappearing from the experience of many human beings, mostly children. If there are eyes that do not see anymore, technology acts and began to see. The loss of naked eye observation has been covered by a great diversity of large telescopes in near extreme locations and by robotic instruments in Earth orbit and beyond. We are still linked to the sky, but now mostly through technology. We have replaced several thousand human eyes, casual sky watchers, with a few hundred powerful, intentional, always-on technological eyes. So if we do not see, we began to simulate that phenomena. The use of simulators, planetariums, software, augmented reality has significantly increased in the last decades, years. So much it is so that this is often confused, that interacting with a simulator replaces observing the real sky. There is an abusement of simulator uses in Teaching of Astronomy, for my personal opinion. On the other hand, for the first time in history, I think, we are in a situation in which the records obtained by the technology used in astronomy have far exceeded the ability of people to reduce data and build new information. Records are generated in quantities of several orders of magnitude greater than one or many people can process in human periods of time. This is the reality, the actual reality now. There are much less astronomers that may need to reduce the information. So I concern about big data because of the personalization and remoteness from the sky. It is now possible to work on astronomical data without observing the sky, without using telescopes, without knowing the data acquisition processes. We take the risk that enormous quantity and rhythm of information production generates a loss of the personal anthropological meaning of the link with the sky. Can you be an astronomer or teach astronomy without being directly linked to the sky? Another aspect is that the sky is more than the theories that explain it. We must ask, when we teach astronomy, on which sky we work on. We can consider that each person is unique, that each culture is unique, so the cosmovisions are also unique. But there is no unique and common sky for all. The sky is much more than the scientific theories that explain it. Theories change with history. Cultures change with time. Today's sky is different from other time's sky, not just from the past, but in the future too. So we must educate with respect for each person, for each culture. The teaching of astronomy must be based on respecting the person who learns, for their interests, for their context. It must be based on respect for his worldview, as a person and as a group. A didactic activity designed in a specialist desk should not be implemented anywhere as a result without respect for diversity. Every activity must be adapted and modified for its implementation. All activities must be evaluated qualitatively. Quantity does not matter, quality matters. Furthermore, we must be professionals in the teaching of astronomy. It is necessary to train in order to educate, as education professionals, especially to generate and develop actions in teaching astronomy. Knowing astronomy is not a sufficient condition to know how to teach astronomy. Furthermore, it is necessary to research in the teaching of astronomy in order to generate better didactic actions. As our symposium established, we must think about a plan for next 10 years. So we must reflect on the steps to follow for the next 10 years. I think about the elements that I would like to be included in that plan. I think about how I would like the teaching of astronomy would develop in the world generated from the actions of the IIU. I also think about how to overcome those risks that concern me. So, in a personal mood, I would like a teaching of astronomy with the following characteristics. That the use of technology be a posteriori and complementary to the observation of the real sky, and not its replacement. Don't let the ocean of data drown people who study the sky. I feel that the data comprise us, and many times we do not know how to go on. That globalization does not mean imperialism. Besides, that the coordination of actions does not mean the domination of some over others. That educating in a scientific worldview does not mean devaluating or eliminating the equivalent worldviews from others. That dissemination for all does not mean totalitarianism managed from a few. And that educating that does not mean conquering. That communication does not mean the effort of many and the comfort of a few. That educators in astronomy be only those professionals trained to do it, and not those who believe that it is a minor activity. I want a future for all in peace and collaboration. I want that IIU plan will be a means to this way. We must think that there are no essential differences between human beings. We are all equivalent. However, we are all diverse, unique. One does not educate or learn through astronomy in a better way in the north than in the south, in the east than in the west. All the forms should be respectful of context and worldviews. For a plan for the teaching of astronomy in the world to be viable, we must recognize, respect, and collaborate with each other as equals. This is the real challenge for us and for IIU. Thank you. It's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Please turn off the microphones.
Thank you.
Sasa wao wamesema wametuma, sisi tukasema umetuma kwenye email gani? Unajua mambo ya internet haya.
Different worldviews. Okay. Thank you so much, Néstor. It was great listening to you. I have two questions while we wait for others. In the first place, I believe evaluation is very important, as you mentioned, but not only for formal education, but especially for informal education, for outreach, because people that carry out outreach are not necessarily used to evaluating their work. And I believe this is extremely important. My other question concerns the following. You want us to unite as nations to include everyone. Do you think the pandemic has helped us do this? And do you believe we should continue having hybrid education, not only people at present, but sharing us our experiences through the world through these electronic devices?
About pandemic, no, I don't like that education will be virtual. This is a tool to improve the contact between people. I think this is a wonderful tool and we must use them, but not as a replacement of other kinds of meetings, personal meetings. There's no, for me, of course, there's no education without personal contact. Face to face, not virtual. We can say that we are all in contact now, but it isn't the same. For me, education is feel the other person. The first question, I don't remember. Sorry, Julieta. Your mic.
I'll translate the question to Spanish. Respecto de la evaluación, yo creo que es muy importante evaluar la educación formal, pero sobre todo la educación informal, porque es como el gran público se entera de las personas y se enamora de ella. Pero por eso pienso que se debe evaluar la educación formal y la informal. I was addressing the question of...
Okay.
I was addressing the question of evaluating informal education.
Yes, I do think so. We must evaluate every action we produce, formal and non-formal. And I don't like PISA tests. I don't like evaluation one for all. We must evaluate qualitatively in each context, in each population, but evaluation is a key aspect of education. We do not develop actions from IIU or from a university massive without evaluation. We must evaluate each day what we are doing.
Thank you. Alejandro Russo asks, where do you think is the future of professionalizing outreach projects? ¿Cómo piensas que en el futuro se puede evaluar los proyectos de divulgación? ¿Cómo se pueden profesionalizar?
First of all, I think we must evaluate in dialoguing between us, designing the projects not from one team but for many teams, and to implement that actions with the participation of professionals in education from different countries or different regions. So I don't want to be the translator of a material designed in another country. I want to be the designer in common with many people for a outreach or education action. So we must design, we must create in common, not just participate of actions developed by others.
Thank you. Claudio Pastrana says, Dear Néstor, the color of the sky requires three things: a sun, an atmosphere, and an eye. We never had so many colors of skies like now. Technology, research, astronomy, and big data is here. Maybe we need to accept that we need other kinds of intelligence, an artificial one to help us with a part of science. But the human, the cosmic connection with the sky is really regained, each more rare, dark night. We all take the heart and minds of kids, and every human's in a beat of that heart. Our principal goal to teach astronomy needs to show that the marvelous is comprehensible and the reach of reason also. ¿Entendiste? Te lo traduzco.
Sí, but that's not a question. It's a thought. I am not against technology, just not to be a replacement of the contact with the sky. Just that. Most things we know are out of the visible portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, so we need technology. It's clear. Just the use in education and the use when you train future astronomers. And to the future astronomers, we must train them in history and epistemology of astronomy. We as astronomers and the young people who want to be a future astronomer, we must not forget the history and the scientific structure, the epistemological structure of the science we develop. That's a central aspect of what means to be an astronomer.
Beatriz Garcia would like to know how to evaluate the communications or amateur or professionals doing education and outreach.
Beatriz, it's a very difficult issue. I think that first things is to communicate and to recognize each other. And then there are many aspects to evaluate. One is the conceptual frame of what are doing. The other is the didactical aspect. The other is the relevance of social relevance of any action. There's no possibility to have conceptual mistakes. It's clear, but neither there is the possibility we are didactical mistaken too. The social relevance is something that we must check. We suppose that we decide what to teach, when to teach, and we don't ask people what they want many times.
Thank you. And people learn what they want to learn. Mr. or Mrs. Pantoja asks, ¿cómo ve el futuro de la profesionalización de la divulgación? I'd answer into English how to be a professional job.
With globalization and technology of social media, the future of popularization of dissemination is wonderful. But for me, outreach, dissemination, etc., is education. So we must check the quality and check the social relevance, and we must evaluate, which means, I don't know, we must design forms to evaluate, but outreach needs to be evaluated.
Well, yes, I think now we are in many people that are dedicated to outreach. So now we could have evaluation be a standard for our work. Otherwise, we will never be considered something important. And I think there are tools to measure if outreach, at least as you mentioned, if it's correct. Okay, well, Néstor, please.
I just evaluation for me is not about quantity and not about standard test. There must be another kind of evaluation. Just that outreach and education must be linked permanently, and we must work as one. But evaluation is a key point, I think. I'm sorry because of this questions and answers is hard to express in English, but it is so. I'm sorry.
You did fine, Néstor. Thank you so much for being here this morning. It was great listening to you, seeing you, and I remind all the listeners that you have wonderful works posted on the internet, and they should go into your work. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you both, because the session was excellent. Thank you, Néstor. Thank you, Julieta. I know there are more questions. Please, Néstor, visit the Q&A tool and try to answer or comment all the questions. Well, and without any, thank you, Néstor. Do you want to add anything or something?
No. Thank you very much. Enjoy the symposium.
Thank you.